There are many car tuning videos claiming that it's a simple 3-stage process, and they're mostly decent for a basic summation, at least for the engine. However, there is more about tuning than that. That's why so many would-be street racers either rice out or blow up their cars. You don't want your car to end up like Brian's Eclipse. That's why we're covering the 5 stages of how to properly tune your car like a real street racer. Because the alternative could always be worse. Before we get started, we need to be clear that the more you tune your car, the more costly it'll become. Not just in upgrades and maintenance, but also gas, tires, and insurance. It might not even pass emissions, which means it may become illegal to drive on public roads. Any changes you make to open up the engine, no matter how small, will put some strain on the car outside of the intended parameters. But if you're serious about this, let's continue. But first, you need a good, reliable car base to work with. There is more to upgrading or tuning a car outside of engine performance. So at the very least, pick a car that's in decent condition. Even if you can't get a sports car, modern or classic, then at the very least find a body frame that's aerodynamic and supports mods. A Honda Civic is popular because they allow many customizable options. I strongly recommend using a manual, preferably with rear-wheel drive. It'll save you money in the long run. Or all-wheel like a Land Evo can work too, if you're basic. And make sure before you start anything, it needs to be in near-factory condition. You need to be aware of the mechanical maintenance, which includes but not limited to the following: fluids, spark plugs, and brake inspections, to name a few. Most importantly, to remove all rust. For older 90s cars, vacuum lines are critical to replace. Cracks in these will decrease performance. But not just that. You'll also need to be aware of the electronics, especially in modern cars. Remember, a poorly running car won't respond to tune-ups, and this is just the baseline. Now we can begin the real lesson. Starting at stage 0, the planning stage. This is before you even think of adding mods to your car. This stage is the most overlooked because people want to look cool or chase clout only to end up looking like a tool. Take the time to study your car's layout, mapping, and features by reading the instruction manual and schematics if possible. Get to know details like the transmission, engine, drivetrain, and braking system. Then ask yourself these questions. How does it handle? What size are your tires? Does it have a turbo or not? Are you looking into a supercharger or a turbo setup? Write down notes in a notebook or log your data onto a computer. From there, you can begin to design and imagine the type of racing machine you're trying to build. Your driving environment is also important to know. Is your focus on speed, balance, off-roading? That's something only you can answer. And create a budget. How much money are you willing to invest or can set aside? I'd say put away at least $2,000. It should be enough to cover the tires, new parts, and gas you put into it for the early stages. Also note that in between each stage, you're to drive the car. Think of this as your personal battle stage, testing and handling aggressive drivers. And I don't mean only for a day or two, but at least a month. Most of you don't drive as much as you think. Fujiwara is out on the mountain roads every night pushing his 8.6 to its limits. Extensive driving can help you determine what adjustments to make from your stage 0 plans. Remember, you shouldn't just rush into upgrades just because they're available. Kanata had the option to run a turbo on his 8.6 in MFG's second round, but chose not to because he didn't get enough out of his car. Now we're finally into the first stage of tuning, the awakening stage. The best part about this stage is the changes are relatively cheap, reversible, and still able to keep a mostly stock configuration. Shop smart and you can keep within that budget. Modern cars rely on electronics, and it's also how your car's potential is sealed off, even with turbo options. This is primarily done for emissions or safety reasons. That's why ECU systems exist in order to bypass this limiter and expand the OEM. But just because you have the ability to crack the car's potential to add 60 or 70 horsepower doesn't mean you should, unless of course you want to risk. Maybe not as extreme, but you get the idea. Remember, there is a difference between NA and turbo engines, so make upgrades accordingly. Treat your car as a living, breathing being. As such, all living creatures need to take an air of some kind. Think of your car as a runner. You can prepare them to do a marathon, but if their breathing isn't right, then they suffer, and results could be disastrous. From there, you'll need additional supporting mods, along with changes to the body or chassis of the car. By this point, you're still adding value, enhancing the vehicle. We've reached the second stage, the balance stage. This is where you take modding seriously. You got a taste of the speed from the first stage and now want to kick it up a notch. Here is where you open up your car's potential geared towards your preferred driving style. Further expand the CPU and additional components for stability. It's also a good idea to get a tachometer to see the further revs you can push. You should be focusing on expanding the engine and fuel systems. Prioritize keeping your engine and oil to regulate temperatures better to prevent overheating. For greater performance, you'll need to supply your engine with more fuel. You'll need a regulator for older cars. If you haven't noticed yet, this stage is where things get pricey. Now you need to be more aware of getting regular maintenance because you're going to need to adjust the drivetrain and suspension systems. Swap tires more suited to the type of road you drive. Consider if you're looking for more grip or a drifting style. Either way, you'll be burning through money as you burn tires. Depending on your preferences, this is where you start lowering your car, but only slightly. Drop it too much and you'll be scraping the pavement with your car's last ride. What you need to remember is that as you make these adjustments, start tuning your car to suit the driving style you're looking for. If you'd like to know how to best tune for each specific racing style, let me know in the comments. Remember, sometimes it's the car with less power that can move faster, so horsepower is never the deciding factor in a race. Third stage is the performance stage. If you've reached this point, you're on the level of the professionals. You're on Project D's level of tuning and maintaining your car into a full-on racing machine. It's time to chase numbers and reduce mass. Further improve your engine and its options. But if you fail to properly tune your car, then your car is as good as... Start by adjusting the vehicle's overall performance with weight reduction. Get rid of anything and everything you can until the car can run on the bare bones frame and setup. Replace the interior seat with a bucket seat. Use aluminum or carbon fiber materials like on the hood, and I mean real carbon fiber, not the cheap plastic. Next, get to work on your engine. If you run a turbo, it's time to replace stock to something with more power or a different setup entirely. If you run an NA, I'd say now would be a good time to add a turbo or supercharger. Most likely you're not running a high rev engine, so these will be necessary if you intend to keep up with the competition. While you're at it, update your ECU with various settings. You can get a boost by gear based on when you shift. It's a bit complicated to explain in this video, so subscribe and comment if you're interested in understanding more about the topic. Lastly, you'll need to do more work on the braking and chassis. This includes bigger brakes, which sound more effective but might as well function like your current brakes do now, given the extreme driving conditions they'll be put through. And please, don't buy anything from eBay just because it's cheap. And lastly, the fourth and final stage, maximum tune. If you've reached this stage, you must be feeling quite proud of what you've accomplished. It's been a long, expensive journey working on a car you're proud of. Now throw that car out and start from scratch. Did you use an automatic? Trash it or convert it to a manual setup. If you got a manual from the start, this could have been avoided. You can go to a local junkyard and find something on the cheap, because that's the only thing cheap in this step. Modern cars, for all their electronics and features, make them garbage and complex to mod. However, you're not looking for just any car, but a fast and furious car. You're here because you want to recreate something on par with Akio's Devil Z, Speed Racer's Mach 5, or Dom's Charger. So throw out that old engine and build a new engine block from scratch with more durable pistons and seals. You're obsessed with speed like the average Transformers collector's need for new figures. But if you're feeling daring to do something stupid, then throw in some nitro. Be warned, the use of nitrous oxide can make your car catch fire or explode. I strongly advise against it unless your engine and exhaust are custom built to handle the higher performance. Get a large or twin turbo setup or a racing-grade supercharger. Use sturdier materials that can handle high stresses, much like the 8.6's Group A engine. Add the electronic mappings on e-turbos, then you can get higher performance than you could ever imagine. Now is the time to unleash the full potential of your car. Have multiple map settings for different road types. You'll need to be doing plenty dyno tests to understand where your car's ability to max out its potential based on the RPMs. If it's not using an aerodynamic exterior, then you'll need to get one. Rework the inner frame to make it lightweight. You might want to do it anyways, much like the Blackbird. Cut down anything non-essential or street legal for weight reduction. Make sure you keep your mirrors and headlights. You'll most likely need to rent out a truck to transport the car or drive good enough to avoid getting caught by the police. Although Brian O'Connor was able to in a car illegal in the US, so you have no excuse. You'll pretty much need to own and live in a garage to have access to all the components and ability to make the changes. Unless you're some experienced mechanic, a doctor, or working multiple jobs, you're not going to be able to sustain this lifestyle. You're going to pay premium on the insurance if you can even get it. You're very likely to get police to tail you if you drive on the road, unless you can dress it up enough to be a sleeper like the Devil Z. And here is the final stage. Racing is your life, your car is your identity, and you're willing to sacrifice everything to get that thrill. If you come to this point, then know this. There is someone out there who cares. You don't have to be alone, be it friends or family. You should seek therapy instead of racing on busy public roads. There are only two ways this will ever end for you. You either find a reason to keep going, which for some can be starting a family, sell the car, give up racing entirely, become a productive member of society, or you keep driving until you can't anymore. In case you're wondering about the numbers on screen, well, hopefully you don't stay in this last stage for long. That's why you need to think things through before getting to this point. It's different if this is all done through professional sponsorships or organizations like Casecase FD and MF Ghost. So if you or anyone you know reaches this point, then please try to get some help. We have a Discord if you need to talk things over or want driving advice. Because if you're going to go through with it, might as well be competent enough to avoid hitting other people. Not one of those tuning videos ever talk about the most important detail, the racer's mindset. Understanding delayed gratification is important, especially in an era of instant content at everyone's fingertips and shorter attention spans. Your ability to focus and concentrate is imperative when it comes to snap decision-making. Anything can happen in an instant when behind the wheel, and you need to be aware of any potential outcome. Remember, it doesn't matter which stage you decide to end on, but always follow this golden rule. Skipping stages doesn't save money. It moves the failure forward. If you follow these guidelines, you're far less likely to pull an O'Connor and eclipse your car. So thanks again for sticking to the end. If you have any specific questions or need details on a tuned racing style, feel free to leave them in the comments. We have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel. I'm currently working on a guide on how to actually drive safely while increasing your skills and maintaining your car. And remember, keep those engines roaring.